2019 will mark the launch of franchising in the EULCS and the end of relegations in the region. This system will be put in place following NA in China in their paradigm shift to franchising as well. So if you've not seen Blitz Esports' video with Quickshot, I think you should definitely go check that out since he goes more in depth on the effects on the league itself. But this video will focus more on some of the points that he did not discuss, some of the personal questions that I had myself. So could we see a return of old organizations like Immortals or Phoenix 1? After thinking on this more, I thought probably not, since the fandom's definitely there from Immortals and Phoenix 1, especially Immortals, since their first split was so impactful in the NALCS, but probably not because the buy-ins tend to be pretty expensive, and some of the football clubs in Europe who have a lot of money and a brand behind them will definitely be looking to find a buy-in slot for franchising in the EULCS. Talking about these football clubs, similarly in NA, with their franchising, they had a lot of basketball teams come in. They had Golden State Warriors create the Golden Guardians, Houston Rockets create Clutch Gaming, Cleveland Cavaliers with Nate Shot creating 100 Thieves, and previously we've had Rick Fox and Echo Fox. So we've already seen Schalke and PSG in the EULCS, so I think this definitely will attract more football teams to the scene, and for potential buy-ins. Premier League teams especially, they have a huge brand and a lot of financial backing. Riot would be more than happy to accommodate them in the scene. It will lead to more exposure in the UK and Europe in general for esports. Yeah, like if you follow football at all, you should know something about some of the Premier League teams like Arsenal or Liverpool or Manchester United, Manchester City. So imagine seeing that on a Twitch stream. I definitely want to click on that and see what their esports team, what their League of Legends team is like. Another question that was posed previously when NA was first getting franchising, and now it's been raised again in Europe, is that long-term partnerships and no relegation means worse competition. But I mean, some of the teams might stay in the league, but the players definitely have a chance of getting shifted around if they're not doing well. They'll probably be moved down to the academy team, or they might be dropped from the team entirely if they're not performing. So I think players will definitely still be competitive. Looking at NA franchising, this can be more different. Looking at the results of the first round of playoffs, if you've not watched the first round of playoffs, the quarterfinals in the NALCS, I will be spoiling it, so make sure you go watch that before you continue any further in this video. But when a team gets relegated, it doesn't matter how many fans they have or the history, they essentially just get deleted, which I think is kind of toxic for the scene. If you're seeing a familiar name, I think you're going to be watching more, and you're going to feel more comfortable seeing what's going on, seeing something that's familiar. But some fans are worried that we're going to lose talent to NA. Like, we've lost Sven, Miffy, Feven, they've all gone to different teams in NA. But franchising in Europe means that we're going to have salaries on par with North America, so players will just feel incentivized to go to NA because they're going to be offered crazy money. They're actually going to have to consider like other stuff. Their salary that they're going to be making is not going to be like double the amount over there or something crazy. They're actually going to have to consider if they're going to want to leave the country they've grown up in, or the continent they've grown up in, and move somewhere completely different. But I don't think we should worry about any players or any figures moving or disappearing from the scene, because a lot of the people that we love will still be here, although they might shift team or something like that. But for now, I think we should definitely watch the space between with the NALCS and how that's going at the moment. I think that's going to be very telling of how franchising could go over here, since I think that is their first split of franchising over there. The old guard of TSM, CLG, and C9 are currently gone. TSM was just beaten by one of the newer non-endemic teams in Clutch Gaming in the quarterfinals, which really spiced up the competition, since TSM has basically been in every finals. If you watch any LCS, you see all the TSM banners flying. Like, people know that TSM getting knocked out at this stage is absolutely huge. But definitely be looking forward to November when we find out who those new teams are going to be. I think we should get a conversation going in the comment section about how franchising is going to affect the EU LCS and other things which could happen because of franchising.